Welcome back to Good Morning LaLa. And on International Women's Day, we celebrate badass women. And this woman has touched millions of lives. It's no joke. She was the founder, and you're the ex-CEO of Skill Path Seminars. They do 18,000 seminars.
18,000
per year.
Wow.
Hello.
That's true.
Obviously, an extraordinary woman, author as well. Thank you so much for being with us on this special day.
Thank you for inviting me. I really appreciate it.
You clearly have become an expert in working it, which is the title of your book. But what was your journey into mastering that for yourself?
Wow, that's a very good question. So my background is as a psychologist. So I've spent a lot of time working with people, a lot of times one-on-one. But because of a former career I had as a clinical director of a corporation of psychiatric hospitals, I was actually doing a lot of training of hospitals, really. But in training nurses, doctors, all kinds of healthcare professionals, I discovered that I really love being on the road and being in front of audiences and doing this sort of thing, actually helping people be better at what I think is the most important thing in the world, and that is how we communicate with other people, how we connect, how we make eye contact, how we make someone feel welcome in our lives. So that's really kind of my journey, I suppose.
So tell us some of those. What are the kind of some basic takeaways? After you've taught this and you've trained people and you've done everything, what are the kind of key factors that we want to learn?
So usually when I'm talking about how we communicate with one another, I like to talk about 7 components, and they're always present. And one of the punchlines of it is that no one gets to opt out of any of them. So they're all present and accounted for all the time in all of us. The first one is our facial expression, what's going on with our faces. It's a way to welcome people, a way to make people feel connected. Next one is eye contact. So important. Eye contact is essential when we're talking to people and wanting to feel like we've actually made that connection.
It's always weird when you're talking to somebody and they're kind of like, they can't really quite look at you, and you're like, what's going on?
Totally. It feels a little odd, and it never feels connected. And in fact, when I teach handshaking, I talk about, we're going to do handshaking, we're going to do this, here's what happens to your hand, here's the pump. But 2 components of handshaking that have nothing to do with your hands are your eye contact and your smile. That's really part of it, because we're trying to connect to people. So facial expression, eye contact, what we're doing with our hands, our use of hands, our posture, which you all have such excellent posture. I was watching your posture.
you.
It's truly excellent posture. And then we have some things that are more auditory, like my voice tone. What's my voice tone saying to me and to you? And my voice loudness. I have to make sure I'm loud enough for everyone to hear me. And finally, my actual verbal content, the words I'm choosing, which have a lot to do with communication. But it takes me to go through 6 different things before I ever get to our words. So there's so much more going on in communication than really just the words we're choosing.
Oh, I just love this. And I sort of think about what you just shared there in terms of both like an outside-in approach, where you're sort of trying to manually manage all of these cues. And then there's also sort of the inside-out approach, which is kind of how can I embody the state of being that lets me manage all these things in a more automatic, sort of organic way, right? So what should be going on inside of you when you're connecting with someone?
Wow, that's such a good question, because it really, as we all know here, it has to come from the inside. Now, in the beginning, I'll tell you that when I work with a lot of people, I work with shy people, I work with celebrities and politicians, all kinds of people who are looking for, how do I put myself out there? And so I can tell you that it does work to fake it till you make it. It does work, but it's a certain level of it. I'm sure that when you all first started in your careers, there's a little bit of like, wow, camera over there, and and so there's that moment of wondering if we're going to succeed in whatever it is we've chosen for our careers. But then after a while, we start to become more self-confident. We start to understand that we really do have this power inside of us. We really have this energy that we can tap and use and put out to the world.
And work it.
And work it, and work it. And I think it has to do with intention, that truly when I'm going to meet another person, and I mean all of you who I met today, it's that I want to have a good connection. I want to be the person who makes you walk away feeling good about yourself.
So when entering a room, how should you set your intention?
So for me, at least, what I think is that every person in the room is someone I know has wonderful qualities, I know has a beauty inside of them. It's just really my job to try to find it. Now, let's face it, we're not all attracted to everybody all the time. There are people where we get a kind of a weird vibe, but I do believe that my best intention is to say, I'm going to figure out how to make this happen for the 2 of us anyway. Also kindness, we're all tall. I noticed we're all tall people. So for me, I try to think about, I'm in the grocery store, I'm looking at somebody struggling to reach something from the top shelf. Why not go up to them and say, hey, let me help you with that? Any way that I can actually help somebody do something that makes me feel like I made their day a little better, just a chance kind of a encounter.
So let's talk about, I mean,
Yeah.
you have created so many seminars. How in the hell did you do that?
Well,
I want to know. Survey wants to know.
how do you
That's
do
me.
this? Well, so Skill Path seminars, I'm the founder of Skill Path, and literally I did start it in my basement, and it grew to be huge. We've trained over 12 million people now.
Wow.
So I sold the company, but I was the founder and the CEO of it until I left and went on and did other things in my life. But it's a matter of growing it slowly. It's a matter of not making any money for a while until the money comes in, because we're paying employees, we're paying trainers, we're paying everybody else before we pay ourselves if we own a business. I'm sure you all know about that. So it's the content. Truthfully, the content is not as hard as the marketing, because in order for 12 million people to attend a seminar, they had to know it was there.
It's a lot of marketing.
It's a lot of marketing. So it is a lot of marketing, and we had to be good marketers for one thing, and then we had to produce killer content. And so the content for me, if we go back to intention, that because I'm a content person as a psychologist, I always want to make sure that my content is something that I believe will benefit people and could not possibly harm them. So we have to really vet it that way, that if I walk into a seminar with 300 people in it and I say, here's an idea, tell your boss what you really think about your job. Whoa, okay, that is not a good idea, actually, for all people at all moments in time. So we have to make sure, if we're talking to a big group of people, that we're saying things that are mostly going to work for the group.
It's true.
Yeah, and then if we're one-on-one.
Responsibility.
Yeah.
There's some responsibility. on
Yes,
that
absolutely.
level.
And beyond responsibility, there's also an element of protection, if you will.
Yes,
And I think
yes.
that's very important as a speaker, as a leader, and something that we've recently started to experience in defining the difference between protection and defense.
Yes.
Because we have to have an element of that when you're teaching, and inevitably there are
Yes.
going to be haters, people that disagree with your message.
Absolutely.
So how do you navigate that?
Wow, so I think that we really do need to somehow figure out a way to be personally insulated. And I'm sure you might get this too. When I do big talks, 1,200 people, somebody's going to hate me. I just got quoted in Market Watch last week, and all these people were just writing about, well, why did you say that? And I'm thinking, well, really, I was just being asked to give a quote about
And
something.
you have a positive intention.
Yes, it's a positive intention. So I think that in a way we have to say, look, I did my best. I did what I could. I definitely am not a bad person or a mean person. Sometimes I may just not make a connection with someone in the audience in a way that I wish I could have, but it didn't happen. And so I think that we do have to find some level of insulation, or we're going to be depressed all the time. Or, they're going, oh, one person didn't like me. Well, wait, 2,000 people did.
Right.
But
That
and
insulation is crucial, though, for a younger generation who is learning how to work it.
you
Yeah.
bet it is. Yeah.
I think handled that very also, didn't mean to interrupt you, was also Amy Cuddy,
Yes.
right?
Yeah.
The Harvard psychologist, and she
Yes.
was sort of attacked
Yes.
for some difficulty or complexity within her statistical analysis. And I thought she handled it with such grace, but also strength.
Yes.
So I'm sure she's been reading your book, probably.
This was a book I wrote for young people because I'm doing a lot of work on college campuses and high school campuses, because I think high school students are underserved, the ones who are not going on to college.
Yeah.
We pay attention to people headed off to college, but what about those high school students who are going to enter their careers day after graduation, 18 years old? So this book was written for young people, and actually 100% of my royalties are going to programs for young people.
Wow.
So
That's
That's
this
incredible.
is a little gift of love, actually.
I have a question. So
Yes.
let's say someone does a great job. They get the message. They need to end and lead all interactions with warmth and positivity and kindness.
Yes.
And they're wanting to get a promotion, or they're wanting to get ahead in their career, or maybe they're wanting to network. How do they then, sort of effectively but organically put their best foot forward in terms of communicating their successes, their wins, their accomplishments, so they can, put themselves in a better position to succeed?
So, great questions, everybody. You're so good at this.
We genuinely have the questions. So I think it helps.
Real,
We want to know.
it helps to be real, doesn't it? So when we're talking about getting ahead, and this is something I talk about a lot. I could talk about all this for hours, you can probably tell. But when you're looking to get ahead, there is that fine line in that we want to make sure that we're not coming across in a cocky sort of way. And so I work with people on that, because if I walked into your office and said, I just want to let you know about all the best stuff I just did last month for you, Mr. Bossman, it's going to look a little bit like I'm pushing you. So what we really want to do is humbly assert ourselves, explain why we believe we deserve the promotion, ask a few questions about what would it take to receive this promotion, but also remember that everybody has something that they want. And you, let's just say you're my boss, there is something you want. So if I want the promotion, I might start by saying, what are your goals for the department? How could we achieve? What are we looking to do? Are we looking to increase sales? Are we looking to increase our market? Are we looking to do? What are we looking to do? And how could I help you to do that? Because I'm interested in whatever I can do to help make our company, our department, our organization better.
Oh, I love that. So it's really about appealing to the other party's self-interest.
Yeah, yeah.
Beautiful.
Yeah,
Very
it
smart,
helps to
very
do that, actually.
So fascinating. I wonder do you know any of the stats of like how many kids are coming out? How many kids are looking for jobs? I think it's a fascinating area because there's so many and jobs are changing with technology.
Very much so.
Yeah.
Yeah, very much changing. So we've got lots and lots of people graduating, as I was mentioning, from high school who are not college bound. They're a group I'm really starting to focus on a little bit. But the college graduating students, here's something new. Like most of us graduated from college and then went out there and figured out what to do next. Most students now have a job located and secured their junior year of college, because when they get out of there, they're going to head right off to their job. So do I like that? Wow. It seems like we just grew up awfully fast here. We just didn't have a chance to really explore things. But the reality is that once I'm about to graduate from college, I'd better already have something in line, because otherwise I'm going to hit the streets with everybody else in June, right when everyone else is looking for that job. It's tough right now.
Oh, fantastic. So we definitely all want to see you and hear you speak somewhere,
Yes, for
right? So
sure.
where can we do that? How
Well,
can we do
my
that?
gosh. So, I'm heading to the East Coast next. So I'm on the road a lot. So I'll be on the East Coast, and I'm speaking. I'm speaking, I think, the week after next at an international mental health congress or something like that. So I'm doing a talk there, and then I'll be talking on the East Coast. I'll be at a few colleges. So I'm out there.
Yeah.
I'm just out there doing
So
stuff.
where can people find and follow you then and learn more about what you do?
So I have a website, DeniseMDudley.com. Denise M is in Marie, Dudley.com. And then I'm on the usual suspects. LinkedIn, you can find me there, and Twitter, and all those sorts of
Those
things.
suspects.
Yeah.
Thank you so much
Thank
for
you
all
so
of your
much.
work.
Really
Thank you
fantastic.
so much.
Thank
Yes,
you so
we'll be
much.
right back.